New data from 10x Investments shows that more women are increasingly saving for retirement. According to 10x Investments, in 2025, women accounted for 53% of net new retirement annuity clients, becoming the majority of new clients for the very first time. However, the data shows a persistent contribution gap, with the average woman's retirement annuity balance at about 60% of the average man's. To unpack this further, we're joined by investment consultant at 10x Investments, Asavela Gwele. Asavela, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. What contributes to the contribution gap between men and women in retirement annuities?
Good evening. I think there are different factors that contribute to that. The first being gaps in contributions between men and women, and the growth that they would have accumulated in the time that they would have done those contributions as well. Some of those also include maternity breaks that women tend to take. That could be for a year or for years where they're actually not contributing towards a retirement fund. One of the reasons for that is also because of the income gaps between men and women as well.
Yeah.
In income.
Yeah, and is there any updated data, or how does the data on the wage gap reflects itself on the investment decisions that men and women make, respectively?
I think it contributes in the sense that one can only contribute based on the total earnings. So if a person is earning more, say we have a male that's earning relatively more than a woman, then they're most likely going to have more contributions and ultimately more money when they retire as well. So we've seen that play, even though women may be more consistent with their contributions, but that gap plays a very big role in terms of how much they end up with at retirement.
Yeah. Is this an indication of growing or perhaps a trend and a tend towards economic parity between men and women? Or are we still far off from that?
I think there is some growth there, like just looking at 2025, for example, where we noticed that in debit orders for 2025, 53% of those new clients, were women, and about 59% of those same debit orders came from women specifically. So there is a trend where women are starting to contribute slightly more, but it's just going to take a few more years before we get to a point where we can actually close that gap.
How do we reconcile this data against the data that we get in the quarterly labor survey from Stats South Africa, that unemployment still disproportionately affects women?
So it does significantly. I think what we can do as women, is to become more aware of how much we have currently and what we can do to slightly contribute more as well on our side, as a way of trying to close that gap, because a lot of women still don't know what investment products are there available to them to contribute, or how they can even go about contributing.
Yeah, we know that, family responsibility expenditure between men and women still varies quite significantly, with women more likely to use more of their salary on household expenditure and household care than men often do. In what ways does that affect the ability of women to maintain retirement annuities, one, which often are like contracted, right, or contractual to say in their employment lives, but two, to consider other investment options?
I think it does have an effect in the sense that, so usually when it comes to retirement annuity contributions, it's deducted from your salary, right? Or like a pension or provident fund that you have, it's usually deducted from your salary. So if it is done through a pension or provident fund, then it's deducted directly from the salary before you start paying for all the other household expenses. So that helps. Whereas with the retirement annuity, you have to then set up the debit order yourself, which might be less if you have a lot more responsibilities for the households that you also have to cater to.
Yeah. What's the profile of women that are the 53% at least that you're speaking about that are increasingly opting into retirement annuities? What is their level and status, level of employment, one on the other hand, but also just general biographical data?
It's actually mainly new investors that are entering the market, so people in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah. Well, are these graduates for the most part, or is it a mixture of graduates and non-graduates? Are these professional jobs, or are these blue-collar jobs? What's the data telling us?
So it's actually more professionals that are contributing, who are working for the first time, earning a salary for the first time, and also people who would have taken gaps early in their careers and now have found employment and are able to continue contributing as well.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to leave it there. Asavela, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Now, that is Asavela Gwele, who is an investment consultant at 10X Investments.